Battleborn is the first big game of May, with many others like Overwatch, Doom, and Uncharted 4 coming out in the coming weeks. With a lot of big releases coming out this month, how does Battleborn stand, and is it worth your money? Well, Battleborn is a first-person shooter from Gearbox, the minds behind the Borderlands series, and very much like the Borderlands series, this game encourages you to play with friends. Battleborn can be played alone if you'd like, but a lot of the MOBA elements to it really encourage you to play online with friends, or at least with random strangers online. The game is split into two halves, the competitive multiplayer mode and the campaign. Battleborn takes place in a space fantasy setting where a catastrophic event destroys the homes of many different alien species. The remaining species migrate to a star called the Solace, and they build factions there for their races. The best of these alien species are called Battleborn, and they seek out Viralcy, the reason behind the destruction of their homes. The campaign consists of 8 episodes, each lasting roughly an hour or so depending on how much you explore and how difficult you find each episode. You can tackle each episode yourself in a private lobby, or invite your friends over to tackle it together. If you don't have any friends with Battleborn, you can go ahead and open up a public lobby and play with random strangers online. The slight problem with that is that you get a randomized selection of episodes to play from, and your party has to vote on which level they want to play. So for example, if you're on episode 7 and you really want to beat episode 7 to move on to episode 8, then you pretty much have to hope that the game randomly chooses episode 7 as a candidate, then all your fellow partners have to vote for episode 7. So it's pretty much left up to chance that you have to play on whatever everyone chooses to play, and you can't just simply go episode 7 and everyone that wants to play episode 7 come join my party. When entering an episode, you have a total of 25 different heroes to play as, some unlocked from the beginning and some you have to unlock by beating episodes or just playing the game. Each character plays differently and fits into one of 5 different factions. For example, the Eldred faction consists of mostly healers and support characters, while the Generate faction consists of characters that prefer close combat over gunplay. Overall, you're bound to find a character that fits your playstyle, and even then when you get bored of that character, you can go ahead and move on to a different character. The comical writing in Battleborn is absolutely fantastic. So many times when I was playing a mission for the first time, I would just burst out laughing at the dialogue. Yeah, sometimes the jokes can be corny, but you can't help but laugh. Gameplay wise, everything is extremely fast paced, almost arcade-like in a way. You tackle on different objectives on a map as you battle your way through enemies blocking your path. Sometimes you'll come across mini bosses that are in enclosed areas, keeping you from progressing through the level. Ultimately, each episode ends with a boss battle that, when you defeat them, earns you a new hero to play as. Just like your library of heroes, enemies also have different classes. So for example, a large enemy may tackle you head on, while a smaller weak one may snipe you from afar. The campaign is surprisingly fun, especially when you're playing with friends. Considering there are so many characters to choose from, a team of 5 can coordinate together to have a healer, a sniper, a range gunner, a magic caster, and a melee character. The combinations are absolutely endless, but when you're playing with friends, planning things out over chat, that's when the game really starts to shine. Now as you play the game, you'll begin to level up your character, and with each level up, you can get a new upgrade. These upgrades are represented by a helix with sometimes 2 to 3 different choices for you to make. For example, you may get a choice to get 10 more damage or 10 more defense. Choose wisely because the choice you make is the one you're stuck with. An interesting factor as well is that these upgrades happen in-game in real time. So you can be in the middle of a shootout and then an upgrade notification will just be there mocking you. Should you risk opening it, trying to decide what to upgrade? Given that the game slows down slightly if you're the only person playing, but it doesn't slow down at all if you're playing with other people. Should you risk potentially getting killed to upgrade something that could help you win this match? It definitely is one of the more interesting factors of the gameplay. Sadly, since there's only 8 episodes available in the campaign, your time is limited before the campaign really begins to feel repetitive. Yes, you can change up your character for a different feel, but ultimately even the enemies become recycled with different colors after a few missions. The multiplayer mode, very much like the campaign mode, can be played in private lobbies with your friends or in public lobbies with random online matchmaking. There's currently 3 game modes, more specifically 3 different types of maps. These maps are Capture, Incursion, and Meltdown. Capture maps act like Capture the Flag, where you have to capture the enemy's team collector while protecting your own. Incursion maps have you push through enemy lines and destroy their sentry weapons, and lastly the Meltdown maps have you sacrificing minions to please a crazy Magnus. Each one of these games roughly lasts about 40 minutes to an hour, so be sure to have the time to actually play one of these when you choose so. Teams are split between 5 on 5, and just like in the campaign, you have the game's entire library of heroes to play as, so you have 25 to choose from. Outside the traditional multiplayer and campaign mode, you can create loadouts for your characters and give them specific gear to help you out in battle. You can even use the currency you earn from playing the game to buy new gear for your characters, although you have a limited amount of space, so choose what you keep in your storage wisely. Overall, Battleborn is fun, it really is. I'm usually not the gamer to get into the MOBA type, but I genuinely had fun with Battleborn. With that said, in the same way that I had a lot of fun with Battlefront last year, I just don't see it being a lasting effect. The game is already starting to feel somewhat repetitive to me, even with the large cast of characters. Yes, they do add a new perspective to the same missions, but I can only do that for so long before I get bored of it. Should you buy Battleborn for $60? Probably not, unless you have a lot of friends that have the game already. However, if you're playing it alone, you're gonna get bored really quickly and find it really repetitive, and playing it online with random people may slow down that process, but it doesn't stop it from happening. Don't get me wrong, I like Battleborn, but very much like Star Wars Battlefront and even Destiny Year 1. I love the games, and they were fun, but I just wish the fun lasted longer without me having to wait for some sort of DLC. I would recommend checking out Battleborn, but maybe wait until you can get a deal on it first, unless you're really eager for a first-person MOBA shooter. Then again, you have something like Overwatch coming out at the end of the month, which would probably offer a similar experience. Perhaps maybe just wait until that game comes out and then you can compare the two if you really had to choose only one. But really, after playing this game for a few days, I like it, it just feels really repetitive after a while. Thank you very much for watching my review of Battleborn. If you enjoyed it, smack a like on it, share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter. It helps the channel grow and I really greatly appreciate it, so thank you. In the comments below, let me know what you think of Battleborn, or if you have any questions about the game that I can answer, feel free to ask and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Thank you all for being some awesome viewers, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.